3, 2, 1.
You ready?
Listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. So much for listening. This is The Real Pineapple, and this is Hunter here, your humble host, and I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, Hunter. What are you doing over there? What are you wearing? Describe it in detail, please.
I'm wearing my those lobster shorts I wore during our draft weekend.
Yeah, you are.
And the wonderful watermelon shirt.
Wish I was there. Was that the question?
Yeah. Actually, the question was, "How are you?"
Oh. I'm doing pretty good.
Could be doing better.
Okay, cool. At least your fantasy team didn't lose by 0.5 points like mine did this weekend.
Yeah, you're gonna get a ton of sympathy on this podcast.
I know, right? And sarcasm, and I'm here with Colin. Colin, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I do wish you were wearing the silk robe, and you need to get a kimono too, I think.
Okay, so very quick segue. I was looking for a decent kimono on Amazon. I was not finding anything I liked, to be completely honest.
Slim pickings?
Yeah, kinda. And I would think, Amazon would, have a little... would have a better selection, but yeah, wasn't finding anything I enjoyed.
Were you looking on Amazon.Japan? You might have better luck.
There's like 8,000 results. Like, holy shit!
It's like that's all we sell in Japan. On
you
Amazon.
know where you could find a kimono is eBay. I'll tell you that. Now it might be worn, but
you're gonna want to run a black light over that when you get it.
They say the more you wear silk, the better it feels. So to each their own.
I mean, that's true. Ooh, I think I might have. You know what's funny? I think I might have found one that I like, but we will get there at some point. But we're reviewing something that Colin and I actually went and saw last Thursday. We had a classic O'Neill Hunter movie night out, and we're seeing the new Brad Pitt movie on Thursday. The was it Ad Astra?
Ad Astra, yep.
Ad Astra.
Yeah. Which I will say I'm hyped for that. I'm really excited for that because I'm a huge fan of B. Pitt.
It's kind of crazy that he's come out with two within like a couple months of each other, when we haven't seen him in something in a while before that.
Is that Astra Plan B too? Like that one? I feel like he's producing that one, right?
I believe he is producing it.
Yeah, it's the same director as World War Z.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that makes you even more excited.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I may be completely wrong. I'm gonna double check right now.
Which I will say, man, I am sad we're not getting a sequel to World War Z. I actually really enjoyed World War Z, so
yeah,
okay. We're not getting a sequel to it.
Were
you completely wrong?
Definitely wrong. He did direct The Lost City of Z, though, which was a good movie in its own right.
There's Z in the
name.
Yeah, that's where I got confused.
I think you're close enough. So.
Yeah.
I think you're good. But what we are talking about is a movie that Colin and I were, trying to stay on track.
I just love us. Sorry, continue.
That we just go off on random tangents. But I gotta say, man, we're reviewing Hustlers, and going into this, it was really funny talking to Colin about it, because Colin, this wasn't Dora and the Lost City of Gold, but walking in this, Colin's like, I don't like Jennifer Lopez's movies. I really don't want to see this. Like, I'm not excited heading into this, and. Were
any of us excited? Were you excited, Hunter?
So I was intrigued. I was intrigued is the word I would use. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, J-Lo movie, because, come on. I can name 3 movies of hers I like, which was Out of Sight, starring the Cloonster himself, George Clooney. That was like 90. Oh god, that was like 98. I want to say. Then she did that movie
Weird.
Enough, which I really wait. Then she did Enough.
Was she in Man on Fire? Was she
no, that was Dakota Fanning. That's who you're thinking.
Classic mix-up.
Yeah. I get Jennifer Lopez and Dakota Fanning confused.
I thought she was in a. I thought. Oh no, I lost my track of. Don't worry about me. Send it back to you, Hunter.
Back to you, Hunter.
Man, one of our best openings ever. But
what are we doing right now? Reviewing Hustlers?
Oh, you know what movie I like is Anaconda. That's the only one I like.
Okay, I actually do like Anaconda.
But that's mostly because of Ice Cube and almost 0% because of Jennifer Lopez.
And the Anaconda.
And 99% Anaconda, 1% Ice Cube, 0% Jennifer Lopez.
Damn.
That's how you get Colin. That's how you suck him into a movie.
Yeah. Giant snake. What? Possibly eats Jennifer Lopez. What?
Boom.
90s rapper.
I'm in.
I will say too, man, she's done one of the worst movies ever in Geely. I hate that fucking movie so much. I can't even express how much that movie genuinely pisses me off. I remember that being one of the first movies like 10 or 11 watching this and going, this just sucks. Like, there's nothing good about this. So, admittedly, J-Lo's film career has been spotty, we'll say, to be nice. I actually love Monster-in-Law. I think that's a really good romantic comedy, and I will defend that movie. And she did Selena. So, I mean, she's done, 4 movies, good movies, outside of Ice Age Collision Course.
Props on finding 4.
Yeah, that is true, Colin. In my opinion, yes.
Allegedly, Your Honor.
Yeah,
allegedly, please.
Yeah, because Colin's like, yeah, fuck this, Hunter's fucking wrong. I don't agree with that at all. But I will say, heading into this, I was intrigued because this got a lot of buzz at Toronto Film Festival, and people were really talking about how.
Wait, so this is like a. I just wouldn't expect this to be like a Toronto Film Festival movie, right?
Yeah.
Or is is the process of? So I guess I'm more unfamiliar with that process. Then is like, do they only accept certain kind of movies, or can anyone enter those? Because I feel like there's a very specific crowd, and this doesn't seem like maybe that crowd. Although, I mean, walking into it, that's what I would think.
I think for me, and just how I've always understood it, is that it's very much kind of more, not even indie movies necessarily, but movies that do have that kind of that indie feel. And as I was watching this, I will say, it felt like it had a decent budget, but never felt too overproduced, which is a really fine line to walk. I was like, oh, okay. And I think some people were thinking this is going to be like, Showgirls. You don't see any J-Lo. You don't see any J-Lo boobs, or she doesn't fuck a guy in a pool. I mean, this isn't Showgirls. It's slightly better than Showgirls, but Colin's like, no, it's not. But
Showgirls. There was a special place in young Colin's heart for the movie Showgirls.
I'm sure there was.
It has nothing to do with the plot. I still don't think I have any idea what the plot of that movie was.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Colin, I just want you to know that Kelly is house sitting at somebody's house, and I went over there, and there's a picture of their grandson, and it looked like a young Colin, and I thought of you. Thinking, why is there a picture of Colin in these people's house? I was gonna send you a picture, but I was like, this would be kind of weird.
You know what? You don't know. Maybe I put that there as a plant.
Damn you.
Whoa.
It is an actual picture of me. You got pronked.
You got pronked? What the?
Got me again.
Okay.
Not with too much tuna.
Wow.
But.
I can't. Solid Quill show reference, but Wow, speaking of my train of thought, that's what I was gonna say. I would imagine Showgirls would have a really special place with 13-year-old Colin. It just makes me think of that Family Guy reference, like, now back to Showgirls, yeah, on TBS. Aww.
No, and that's the truth too. Is that I don't think I ever saw that movie unedited until like I was much older, and I was just like, God, this movie's really fucking horrible. Like, but I used to watch it when it was on like TBS, and I was like, what? Thinking back, and I was like, so stupid. They cut out all the parts. They actually used to put on they drew in on all the frames like bras during the backstage of the stripper shows. Or I guess it's the showgirl shows in Vegas, but they're all topless in the normal movie, and TBS went on every frame and drew in bras on all the girls.
Wow,
this is funny.
I thought they used to just delete those scenes, but I guess.
Well, some of them that movie is I feel 50 minutes of the runtime is there's nudity on screen.
Yeah,
easily.
So they're we can't just cut out all the nudity, or else it's not a movie anymore.
The entire movie.
Yeah, that would be just fucking insane. But I was heading in this really kind of thinking, oh God, be better than Showgirls, and it's better than Showgirls. I hope Colin will give me that. I will say right now, I feel like I'm going to be the highest on this movie, so it'll be very interesting to get your guys' thoughts on this. Scott, if you kind of want to go over the plot.
Don't be scared, Hunter.
I'm not scared. I am. I feel like this is gonna be my version of the Boss Baby, where I'm gonna where Scott and I love that movie, and Colin's like, "What the fuck is happening?" I feel like I really enjoyed this more than you two did, and you're both gonna be like, "Okay, we need you to explain why you love this." So,
shall see.
Yeah. Oh, that does not make you feel better, Scott. If you kind of want to go over the plot, man.
Yeah. So, essentially, the plot follows. One main character, Destiny, she's played by Constance Wu.
Love her.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying I love her because I love conversations, yeah.
So, falls on hard times, turns to dancing and stripping, and basically at the club where she starts up at, she becomes friends with Jennifer Lopez's character, who is also a stripper at the club, Ramona, and basically after kind of working together to take all these Wall Street guys for what they're worth and go after the big fish, essentially, the 2008 housing crisis happens, and they have to find a way to bring guys back to the strip club. So they essentially start drugging them. They get a few other girls, and they start drugging these Wall Street, super rich Wall Street guys, and just draining their credit cards. And I mean, that's essentially it. The plot is a narrative being told by Destiny as she's being interviewed for an article. By Julia Stiles, who I haven't seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, so
Elizabeth.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah,
that was kind of like a random cameo. I don't know why it's random, but yeah, it's kind of first part. Do you want me to go what I think about it, or where do you want to go from here, Hunter?
Let me jump in here a little bit. So first off, Julia Stiles, I just love her so much. I've loved her since 10 Things I Hate About You. I think she's just a delight. So I was really happy to see her in this. I was like, oh my gosh. And, Save the Last Dance, it makes me think I have a shot with her because, she did that and the Othello movie a couple years apart. So maybe she loves black dudes. So, Julia, call me, baby. But
she was in one of the really good seasons of Dexter, too.
She was, yeah, the last good season of Dexter.
Yeah,
that's probably the last time I remember seeing her.
Yeah. Well, she's been in the Bourne movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bourne Ultimatum. I think I don't know which came last, that or Dexter, but I think it was either one of those two. Is the last thing I remember her in.
To answer your question, by the way, Colin, last season Dexter she was in was 2010. but she got killed in Jason Bourne. Spoiler if you haven't seen it by now. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, dude, it came out 3 years ago. Come on, like, but she got killed in Bourne, Jason Bourne, and that was 2016. So,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. And she looks the same.
She looks
really,
exactly the same.
Like, which kind of tripped me out. How, like, he hasn't fucking aged. Save the Last Dance. That was.
Is that one with Matt Damon?
What, Save the Last Dance?
No, the last Jason Bourne.
Yeah, it is. Save the Matt Damon, Julia Stiles. Save the Last Dance. Actually, I want that to happen.
Oh yeah, that should be like a Dirty Dancing kind of hot romantic. Oh yeah, I could get into that.
I either didn't see the last Jason Bourne, or I it was not memorable at all.
I only remember the first part of it. I don't remember what exactly happened.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the last Bourne movie. So
well, now you spoiled it for me, so I don't even think about it.
God dang it.
So that's the last one, or maybe is it like a James Bond thing where the final scene is him? Oh no, that was Bourne Identity. Him swimming away.
Nah,
did Jeremy Renner do one?
He did. That was the Bourne Legacy.
Arrow?
God, we were getting randomly off topic. I
think that was Arrow.
No. Yeah. So,
I'm thinking of Avengers. Damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Gosh dang it. No. He did do the Bourne Legacy because remember they subbed out Matt Damon.
I saw that one. I for sure saw that one.
Yeah, and that one wasn't very good.
Can't believe they did.
But it's funny because I know I remember watching that one, and I also don't remember that one at all. So maybe I did watch the Matt Damon one. I don't know.
They all, when I think about them, they all come back to me as the Bourne Identity.
So I'll say the Bourne Ultimatum, man. That's one of my favorite movies in the trilogy. I loved Ultimatum. I thought it was great, but
it's a badass movie.
But so yes. Anyway,
let's talk about Bourne more. What else do you like about
Let's just turn this into a Bourne Identity podcast.
Yeah, God, we're 20 minutes in. We have not gotten to hustlers, really.
So it's about strippers. There's not a lot more you need to know. Anyways, Jason Bourne.
All right, guys, final grades. What you got?
All right, so I'm gonna give the Bourne Ultimatum A+. Thanks for listening.
So I'm gonna let Colin kind of jump in here because I have a feeling. I just want to know Colin's thoughts. So Colin, talk to me, man. What did you like about this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't have high hopes at all, which can tend to help a movie, at least in like how there's not much I can do, like we're all human. And going into it, I was just like, I'm not going to like this movie at all. I'm going to be looking at my watch the whole time. It's going to be really, really stupid. And then, it started. It wasn't very interesting to start. I don't really remember what was going on or why anything mattered. But it did get a lot better. I'll say that. Like, as the movie went on, I definitely found myself actually kind of caring about the story and being very interested in it. I thought a lot of the storyline was pretty compelling. Once they say oh, it's 2007 and we were making all this money, and I was like, oh shit, they're going down the big financial crisis route, and it kind of perked me up. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes, and then they start really hustling. I was I completely lost track of the title of what that was gonna mean for the movie. So I was like, oh, it's called Hustlers. I don't give a fuck.
You're like Peter in the movie theater, and you're pointing at the screen oh, they said it.
Oh, they did it. They're hustling. But yeah, I really didn't think about it. I saw the title Hustlers, and I was like, oh, do they start? Is this about Hustler magazine? I don't know.
Oh my god,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So, but yeah, it's, I don't know. It's very much to me Magic Mike, with the all female cast kind of like not in the plot exactly, but like how the movie kind of like hits its spots. Like, okay, we have like compelling drama here, and then gratuitous nudity stripping scene, and then like compelling plot, and like the stripping scenes did not do it for me at all. Like it was more just kind of like, okay, good for you, Jennifer Lopez. Like you obviously kept yourself together, very well, and it's like good to be like, dude, like proud of like how fucking like good you're looking, and just like throw it out there on screen. But like the rest is like, Cardi B's in there. I was like, okay, whatever. There's just like all these other random stripping scenes and stuff, and I was like, okay, it just kind of was like whatever. But as far as the plot went, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I kind of like was caring about the movie. I didn't end up like looking at my watch at all.
Yeah, and I'll sit next to Colin and I can attest to the fact that that he did not. This is what I'm gonna say. I went into this kind of going like, all right, movie, let's see what you got. And I thought the plot between... So, if there is a complaint, and I'll hit the movie with this kind of from jump here, this really is Constance Wu, who plays Destiny, and Ramona, Jennifer Lopez's character. It's really their movie. The other strippers are, you might as well call them girl 1, girl 2, girl 3, girl... Like they're there, but they're not really well fleshed out. They're fleshed out just enough so you can kind of remember their names. So if they're in it, with these ensemble pieces, I would compare this somewhat to something like Ocean's 8, because it's a mostly all female cast, but I felt like in Ocean's 8 I got to know a little bit more about each character than I did here. But the cores of the group, Ramona and Destiny, I liked as much as I like Sandra Bullock and Cate Blanchett in that, and I was a big fan of Ocean's 8. So watching Jennifer Lopez here, this is the most she's acted ever. Like, maybe outside of Selena, which was like 97, I want to say. Like, it's been a while since as the kids call her, J-Lo, has put in this much work. She really did, for the first time in a while, it seemed like she gave a shit. Scott and I reviewed it. Dude, I remember we saw The Boy Next Door, and we were just fucking, we were just like, God almighty, this movie sucks. Like, I remember even saying I was kind of done with Jennifer Lopez after that, because I was just like, you don't care, so why should I? But, I gotta give her credit here. She actually, go figure, gave a little bit of a shit. And Constance Wu, if you haven't watched Fresh Off the Boat, she's great on there. But, just coming off of Crazy Rich Asians, I thought she was so great in that, and she continues her streak here. As great as Jennifer Lopez is in this, Constance Wu really is the star of this. I like the way they do a interview kind of format with her, where Elizabeth, who's played by Julia Stiles, she's just asking her like, so, what happened here, like, where did this go, and what happened. Like I really appreciate the format the movie was filmed in and how it was presented. I really appreciate that. As far as the stripping scenes, Colin will tell you, I probably said, God damn, or good God almighty, or like some variation of that probably at least 5 times. There are a couple points I was like, Ramona's first stripping scene, I can't remember what song it's to. It doesn't matter. But there's a point where Ramona does the splits, and Scott... Dude, if I was wearing a hoodie, I would have thrown it back. I was like, whoo, okay. Like, old black women fan themselves in church. That's what that's all I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, okay. Jennifer Lopez is 50, man, and she, oh my God, she looks incredible still. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if it's plastic surgery or if it's all natural. Either way, good for you. She doesn't look like Skeletor like Cher does. So I mean, props to him. Dude, we saw her in Mamma Mia. She looks like Skeletor. Don't judge me.
Oh yeah, she puts a face on for sure.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lopez looked great in this, and the thing I did appreciate about her is that you do see that descent for Ramona, and Destiny, because Ramona, they're at the strip, they're just at the club, and then, as you mentioned, Scott, the housing crisis hits, and it just fucks up the program for everybody. And I'm kind of there with Colin in the sense that the first part, it is a lot of setup. You are kind of like, all right, stripping, like, where's this going? But once the housing crisis hits, and that was 2008, I want to say, is when it happened.
2008.
The movie takes this turn, and I think some people will be very, oh my god, what? When the turn occurs, because it definitely is. It kind of hits you like a twist. I mean, the movie's going to kind of go darker, but it goes darker than even I was kind of expecting. And I got to almost give the movie credit for that, because at first they're just getting, these Wall Street guys, drunk. Just, and you can't handle your booze. It's like, well, handle your booze better. But then they end up going full Walter White and Jesse. And they're mixing, what is it called? It's like MDMA and
ketamine, I think.
Thank you. Yeah. And
which is like a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, and Colin and I looked at each other. We were like, "Oh shit!" Like that's when we were like, "Oh man, this movie's gonna go some places." And the movie goes to several dark points. And you just see Ramona become more of like. It almost turns into like Ramona parentheses Narcos almost towards the end, because she's like, I don't give a shit how I'm getting money as long as I'm getting it. And it's pretty crazy how dark Ramona actually gets. And seeing Destiny at first kind of go like, well, okay, like this is compromising my morals, but it's fine, to her going, I need to get the fuck out of here. I really appreciated how they handled that turn. Just getting into just kind of stuff that I enjoyed. There's a cameo here by an R&B. You know what? Full spoilers. We always say that to start off, but full spoilers here. There's a cameo by Usher here, and Colin and I were laughing so hard because, man, you want to talk about grabby. Whoo! Like, even Antonio Brown would be like, dude, calm down. But Usher was grabbing J-Lo's ass so much. Even I was like, dude, fucking ease up a little bit. Like, I don't know if A-Rod will ever watch this movie just because of how much Usher was just grabbing on everybody. But that cameo I thought was actually pretty funny, and I thought it was actually pretty well done. He's grabbing J-Lo's ass in the credits, by the way, my bad. But I thought that was actually pretty well handled, and just, that fantasy, as it were, of being able to just drop however much Usher dropped in the club. I've never gone to a strip club. They're just not my thing, to be completely honest. So I found it fascinating, as I found this almost like a documentary. Like, okay, this is how people view strip clubs. This is what could potentially happen. This is what, okay. So it was actually kind of interesting to just watch it from that perspective. There was one scene here with Destiny that I just found so fucking heartbreaking, where there's this like Wall Street dude she's giving a private dance to, and he goes, hey, like touch it a little bit. And she kind of looks at him like, yeah, like that's not happening. Kind of keeps moving. He goes, hey, look, come on, 200, 300. Like just stroke it a little bit. And it cuts back to Elizabeth interviewing her, and Destiny goes, oh yeah, come to find out that was what, $60, I want to say, Colin?
Yeah, I think it was 320s instead of 300s.
Yeah, and your heart, I remember my heart, I was like, oh, fucking A. Because A, that fucking happens every day, somewhere, one. Two, just, Constance Wu, the way she stole that, just like, you see kind of look off, like, motherfucker, I should have known better, but, like, I was desperate. It was a really sad moment, and there are multiple scenes like that I went, oh, okay, like, all right, movie, you're hitting here from me. Also, Colin and I laughed hardest because it's got the best cameo in the movie I've seen all year. It's not even really a cameo because the guy acts, but John Glazer is in this, and Scott, I only wish you could have been with us in that movie because Colin looked away to grab a sip of his beer, and I was like, Glazer! And Colin turned away, and then turns back, and he sees John Glazer, and when he looks at me, he's like, oh shit, it's John Glazer. I'm like, hell yeah, it is. And
yeah, it's funny. Right when I looked over at Hunter, like freaking out, I was like, who could have possibly just come on the screen to elicit this reaction out of Hunter? And then I just see it's John Glazer, and I was like, a perfect person. Just like seeing Hunter's reaction first. It was great.
And he plays. Well, he's the boss at Ramona's job when the club kind of crashes. Or when the stock market crashes. She goes, hey, I need to run out. I need to watch my kid. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he goes basically, oh, well, maybe if you're working more hours, not always running away, you'd have more money. Ergo, you could hire a babysitter. It's like, oh my God, you're kind of a prick. But he plays Mark. Pardon me. That's the character's name. John Glazer. You gotta put some respect on his name. But I just gotta say, dude, I was laughing so hard at seeing him in this. I was like, hell yes. Also, and I'm just kind of going through the characters here. Cardi B, like Colin said, she's in it 5 minutes or whatever. He's not wrong there, but I mean, this is the most I've been able to like Cardi B in any like music included. I was like, I don't mind you in this. I mean, she's got 5 minutes of screen time, maybe. It
felt very forced.
Did it for you?
Yeah, it felt like, here's Cardi B. We're gonna get like way more people to come see this movie now.
Okay,
that's how it felt to me.
Yeah, Scott, kind of your thoughts on that?
I thought it was funny because she was actually a stripper, and they had her. I think it felt forced, but her being in there kind of made it funny because she was a stripper. If it went any longer, if she was any part of the storyline at all, then it would have been a big no for me. But
yeah, maybe forced isn't the word, but maybe cheap. Like it was cheap money.
Well, they had Lizzo on, which is like a popular singer / rapper.
Right, like they were filling out the cast list, and they were like, we're going to be able to market this like so much better just because of the people.
We have
in this.
stars.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree, and I agree with you on that. If it had gone any longer, I would be like, oh, okay, movie, like we're dipping too much into the pool here. I think for me, the weirdest thing was seeing Keke Palmer in this. Like, that really kind of tripped me out. Because I think of Keke Palmer, I think of, like that Nickelodeon show she had. So seeing her, like, stripping, I was kind of like, oh, okay. This is
what
kinda...
Nickelodeon show?
I think it was, like... okay. In the context of how we're discussing Keke Palmer, okay. I think she was, what was it? True Jackson VP. That's what it was called.
Okay. That's past my time, I guess.
And I thank you.
I mean, yeah, like, why do you know about this show? What year did this come out?
little siblings, younger siblings. Right? Don't judge me. And I actually don't know what year it came out. I feel like it was 2008. Oh God, it makes me feel old. Fuck.
So
okay.
You must have been watching that in Austin.
Wait, that would put me 2008. No, I would have still been on the coast. So
okay.
About to move.
Well, I don't think your siblings were with you on the coast. Now, were they, Hunter?
Yeah, let's follow the money here.
Wow, what is going on right now? Why am I getting I wasn't watching it in 2008 when it started. All right, shit. I watched it at some point. Why are you judging me?
Just get your story straight. That's all I'm saying.
Golly, God, I feel feeling attacked right now. God,
I just want nothing but the facts, Hunter.
You can't handle the facts, but okay.
All right, I'll jump in here. I'm gonna jump in. All right, so first off, I miss seeing movies with Hunter, because of the lovely nature of being in a movie with you and your reactions.
Thanks.
Expectations going in, I was in the same boat. I feel like it was like I was the same boat as Colin, and just kind of dreading going to this one, but I was going with my girlfriend, and you kind of like when you go to move the way I am when I go to movies with my girlfriend. If I like really don't like the movie, I try not to be like outwardly pissed off about it if there's a chance that she might like it. So I was like kind of tempering my expectations a little bit. Yeah. But I think Magic Mike is a great is a real similar movie to this. I think you made a good point, Colin, that like they do have like the moments of like stripping and nudity, and then they cut to plot, which I think like I thought it was really well thought out, and I was honestly surprised at how well this movie was thought out, and it seemed like they really committed to a plot and didn't go over the top. I was just kind of like waiting for it to go over to the top, and there'd be like a lot of eye roll moments of like, yeah, we're here, we're women, and we're gonna like totally get one over on these guys. But there was this like underlying emotion, and like with the main character, I was Constance Wu is a really great actor, and like there's even moments where she was like crying, or you really felt that it wasn't just like some, I don't know, it's some movie you wouldn't expect to be more of a drama. But yeah, and then I thought the Usher thing was hilarious. Like the way he just kind of like came in and then like said whatever to said his she who was it? Jennifer Lopez was like,
Ramona.
He's like, what's your name? It's like Usher, baby. It's like, okay, that was kind of an eye roll, but it was also perfect.
Yeah, and you can see, dude, you know Usher's done that so many times. Just like,
because at that point in time, in 2008 or 7 or whatever, he was the man.
Yeah, I mean he was the Chris Brown without giving women love punches, or fist kisses. I apologize.
I was reading. I guess Usher was like he was real big into the strip club scene too.
Yeah, I can see that.
like apparently, yeah, like around that time, like he was well known for dropping lots of money.
Well, I think people forget,
what a
man,
time.
Usher was selling millions of records like it was nothing back in like 2008. Like,
yeah. What were they playing? I Want to Make Love in This Club?
Yeah.
When he walked in?
Yeah, Love in This Club. Yeah, Love in This Club.
It was a fantastic scene.
Banger.
Yeah. I do love that. I gotta admit, man, I actually went on Spotify and downloaded the This Is Usher playlist. I was listening to that like the next day at work. I'm like, I do like a lot of Usher songs. Like, damn.
He says like one thing too, and it's just like he just oozes charisma.
Yeah.
Just walking in the whole time, I was like, he's gonna have every stripper in that club on him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and that smile and the way he looks at you make you feel like you're the only person in the room. But sorry, I got distracted. Anyways,
whoa.
but I even like the
Colin's like, what's happening on the podcast?
like it wasn't like that moment wasn't cheap because the narration of this and like Destiny's kind of story is like, oh, we're just at our job and we're like, oh, Usher came in and we're all gonna dance on stage, and that was like the funnest day that we've ever had, and I was like, oh, like that was the pinnacle. I feel like that made it a little bit more like impactful than just being like, oh, then Usher came in and was like crazy and he said Usher baby, and we're like, what?
No, I mean,
I don't know. This movie surprised me. I'll say that. It was probably, I would venture to say, biggest surprise of 2019.
So far, I agree with you, if I'm being completely honest. And I will say, when the bottom does fall out, because it's like 21. It's like I actually really like that movie 21 with
the British kid.
Yeah, and
is that Kevin Spacey?
Across the Universe guy.
Yeah, Kate Bosworth. Yeah, Kevin. I like to allegedly touch young boys. Basically.
I allegedly. Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah. That's correct.
Gotta say allegedly. Don't want to get sued, but I mean, it's the typical rise and fall story. It's like The Big Short, stuff like that, where you start off super great and then shit falls apart really quickly. And when shit falls apart quickly here, it falls apart really quickly. And I have to say, that's one of the things I appreciated the most about this movie, is that it took these women to highs, but the lows were just, when shit goes south, it goes really south. They showed the scene in the trailer, and I didn't realize why they cut it like this, and then after watching it, I realized why they did. It's this guy that that they're hustling, that they're going ahead and just taking his credit card and all that. They give him too much, and so he's like, they put him in the back of Ramona's car, and they're trying to take him to the hospital, and so he wakes up as they're driving to the hospital, and I want to say it's Annabelle, who's played by Lily Reinhardt. She goes ahead and elbows him, like breaks his nose, and you're like, oh shit, okay. I will, full disclosure, she plays Betty on Riverdale, and I really like Riverdale, don't judge me. But
I will say though that like that was probably the more like gags for laughs type thing, because he's completely naked, and they like drag him into the car, and they like leave him at the hospital. Like she punches him, and then they leave him at the hospital, and she does this whole thing of like acting like it's his husband, and they just take off like they're badasses. I was like, that was kind of like, yeah. I'm glad. That's what I expected from the entire movie, I would say.
Okay, fair enough. I will say that scene worked for me, and it's totally cheap. I fully acknowledge this, but there is a couple dicks you see in this movie, and I was kind of like, but
and you're like,
know what?
Nice.
Yeah. It was like, oh, it's like good for you, but I did appreciate the fact that you got some boobs in here. You get some titties.
You guys like boobies? You're gonna love this movie.
Yeah, TBS is gonna have their work cut out for them when they're putting Hustlers on in 5 years.
I mean, it's definitely not Showgirls, but there's a decent amount of boobs in this movie. I was like, damn. Like,
there is a blue-balled 14-year-old out there, future 14-year-old out there. If you're watching the TBS version.
Yeah.
Fuck TBS.
Yeah.
Just show me one nip, all right? I just want to see one little nip.
There somewhere 14-year-old Colin is in the multiverse somewhere, and he's like, thank God I have Hustlers coming out. And
yeah, he lives in Denver, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, accurate. But
whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
All right.
That's tripping me out.
I will say there's a 14-year-old version of Hunter somewhere in the multiverse, and he is just gonna love this movie because you see so much ass in this movie. Even I was like, this is almost too much of a good thing. Like, there's a lot of ass in this movie, but my struggle with grading this is I don't know to grade it. I don't want to curve my grade, but this was such a surprise. It kind of made me like it more. If that makes sense, Scott. Like
yeah, definitely. And Colin said at the beginning, like it's human nature to have expectations, and how you like the movie, as a result, is based off that for sure.
Yeah, and I will say the trailers. Colin even said walking in the movie, he's like, "Yeah, I've seen these trailers. And I am not excited." It's like,
well, they don't market it as the movie that it is. Like they market
That's
it
so true.
like you're just coming to see, all the strip scenes. Like here's all the strip scenes. Let's go, fellas.
Because the strip scenes and like the stars, and oh look, it's Cardi B. Oh look,
right.
There's you have Jennifer Lopez who's stripping, and what blah blah blah, and that's not even what the movie is, which is, I think, you're right. It's kind of a total lead on for something completely different.
Yeah, I will say this is marketed very similar to Magic Mike,
right.
starring my nigga C tapes.
And I like the original plot of Magic Mike.
Yeah, and I that same feeling though. Like I wasn't sure what to expect going into it because of that, and that's how they marketed it. And it's like, oh, this is actually how to plot.
Yeah, and I will say too, I think the thing about the plot of Magic Mike, similar to this, is that you do think it's going to be about one thing, and then it does kind of make this flip, and you go, oh, this is something totally different. And if you're a dude just wanting to see a bunch of boobs and ass, you'll probably be disappointed by the back half of this movie, because there's a lot less of that and a lot more story. What I did appreciate was the whole Ramona, Destiny. Their relationship really does carry the movie, and it is about Destiny really wanting to have that mother figure, never having that growing up. And the great thing about the format that they use, kind of the interview format with Elizabeth talking to Destiny, is they're able to give you a lot of exposition to fill in gaps without it technically being exposition. You know what I mean? Like the way it's delivered, it's not that exposition-y sort of feel, which works for this movie. So I really did appreciate that as far as filling in Destiny's backstory. There's a scene where Destiny drops off her daughter at school, and she's just covered in blood from the night before in her tank top, and all the parents are looking at her like, "Who the fuck? Like, what the fuck happened?" Like, it's kind of played somewhat for a laugh, but it does show just how far she's fallen, and I did appreciate just little scenes like that. Getting to my final grade and kind of wrapping up here, this was such a surprise, and, Scott's right. It is human nature to go, well, this was such a surprise that I gotta give it. But to be completely fair, and I'm actually probably happy we didn't review this this past weekend like we were originally going to, because it gave me some time to really kind of think about it and just, read up on some stuff on it and everything. I'm gonna give this a solid A. I think that's fair for this movie. People are talking potential Oscar for J-Lo, and I'm gonna say I think she's gonna get an Oscar nomination. This is why I say this. I'm gonna call it now, because right now I think there is this there's an infatuation with people finally being good. I know that sounds really like a real dick thing to say.
Like people we liked when we were younger, and then it's like, oh, or like we have some sort of affection for, and then they maybe were not good, and then finally they're good again.
Yeah, like it really feels like this has been a performance that really since Selena that people have been waiting for from Jennifer Lopez. So I think that surprise enough will be enough to get her a nomination. We are still, we're only middle of September. There's still a couple months. There's plenty of time for other Oscar stuff to come out. But with something like The Goldfinch coming out and doing fucking horribly, a lot of people were thinking that was going to be an Oscar contender. I don't think it's going to be. So this does lead potentially for some, for Jennifer Lopez to maybe get a Best Actress nomination. And honestly, I think Constance Wu, because Crazy Rich Asians really didn't get any love last year, this might be a Best Supporting Actress nomination for her, because I thought she was absolutely excellent. So I'm going to give this a solid A, though. I think that's fair for what I got. I don't know if this will crack my top 10. Again, there's still time, but this is something I think you really should go out and see, because the surprise alone, you'll go, I'm happy I saw it in the theater. Plus, you get to see, J-Lo, like, J-Lo's ass actually looks bigger on the screen, which I was actually almost impressed by, that they can make it look bigger, so, hooray. So, A for me. Colin, final thoughts and grades, sir.
Yeah, this movie definitely surprised me. I think that was the overwhelming theme of all of our impressions of the movie, for sure, is that it was surprising. It was a lot different than what I was expecting. You still get a lot of what I was expecting, which is not what I like about this movie. It was definitely more like eye rolling and kind of like, okay, let's get on to the next scene. We get it. But there was a surprising good story in here. There was a surprising amount of this movie that was very well directed. And the director of this, the only thing that I've seen her do is Seeking a Friend for the End of the World with
Aubrey Plaza, right?
No, it's actually
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell and Keira Knightley.
That's right. Yeah,
that was back in 2012. It's surprising to see how good a lot of these scenes are directed in this movie. This is definitely the best performance I've ever seen with Jennifer Lopez. I make jokes that I think she's terrible and blah 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 blah. But I mean, as a kid, all I remembered was the romantic comedies, and I always just thought they were so stupid. So that's I've just always had this impression of Jennifer Lopez, dumb rom-com.
That's the truth.
But Selena, I definitely even when I was a kid, I remember watching Selena and being that was a good performance. So yeah, that's the best I've seen since that movie, for sure. The whole Oscar nomination thing, there's gonna be a lot of movies coming out soon. I mean, I definitely think it's one of the better performances this year. there's only going to be 5 nominations. It's hard to say if there won't be some ones that pop up here in the next couple months. But yeah, I also like Constance Wu was also another really good part about this movie. Like the direction was good, the acting was surprisingly good. Constance Wu, like I would actually consider her the lead in this movie. Like I think like Jennifer Lopez, if anything, would actually deserve Best Supporting Actress with Wu as the lead. But just because of the name, I don't know how they would do that.
And I think so. I agree with you guys 100%. But I think because J-Lo's a bigger name, she'll get Best Actress. But I agree,
which I don't agree with. Like
I agree, I would flip them.
Yeah, like I mean, if Jennifer Lopez is just getting the Best like actress nomination and Constance Wu is getting bumped down to supporting, like I think that wouldn't be right. But we'll see how they do it. As far as a grade, I was surprised. It was good. I doubt I'll ever watch this again. But like for the time that I was watching it, I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't have to sit through a piece of absolute dog shit. It was actually like pretty entertaining, pretty good. I'm gonna give it a solid B. Scott, your final thoughts, my dude.
Yeah, we've been over a lot of it. I would agree with both of you guys on like directing was great. It took itself seriously, and I'm always more engaged in movies when you feel like they're making an attempt to like a serious attempt and not just to money grab or to hit a certain demographic, because I feel like they can capitalize on it or whatever. As long as and I feel like they did that through this mood they had throughout. One thing we didn't touch on yet was the grandma, and that was kind of like...
I loved her.
She was great, and that was Destiny's grandmother. Let's see if I can find her on here. I don't know if he's mother... Oh boy, Destiny's grandmother. No, it's not. Doesn't have a name. Anyways, so she kind of like is part of the come up, and then she, spoiler, ends up dying, and that's kind of it kind of takes the movie in a different direction.
That was a sad scene.
Yeah, and I feel like they let you connect to the character that way, and I will say I'm glad that it centered around the duo of Destiny and Ramona, and I think they could have gone a different direction and started highlighting a few other characters, but I think it was about them and Constance, her characters just kind of like growing up, I guess, which I thought was surprisingly interesting and captivating, and there were some dumb parts, and but I think the good outweighed the dumb by quite a bit. I was surprised in my grade, but I'm gonna give this an A-.
So, you know what? All right. I am pleasantly surprised, Scott. I thought you were gonna go B+. So,
no, I liked it. It was, I gotta give it credit. Like it was good.
Did Kelly really like it?
Yeah, we both really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, I feel like it's not marketed towards women, but like women would actually very much enjoy it. Like it's very actually like empowering when they're like just like taking down all these Wall Street dudes, even though it's very illegal.
Right. Yeah, She it seemed like her demographic would enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean,
although I will say I'm not sold on the J-Lo Oscar buzz. Maybe I would agree Constance Wu, but not that she like didn't deserve it necessarily, but I don't think it's maybe that caliber that you're looking for. And there are other movies coming out, so it might be a little too soon for that, but I as we all did, we like Constance Wu.
So I'm just saying, at no point did I say she deserved the Oscar nomination. I just said
I'm just talking about the buzz. There's you're saying there's buzz for it. And I don't know if it's quite warranted yet, but she did a good job.
Yeah, but the highly reputable site Buzz Sugar is reporting breaking down Jennifer Lopez's Oscar odds for Hustlers.
Oh, boom!
So a lot of buzz.
Of buzz.
Well, la-di-da. There you go.
What is the website again? Sugar what?
Oh, but the classic, very reputable site, Buzz Sugar.
Oh, Buzz Sugar.
Yeah,
That's
Buzz
right.
Sugar.
I love Buzz
Sugar.
It's that site that's definitely just trying to bank off of BuzzFeed's first name.
No. It's like it's like the telephone book where people will be like, this is ABC Plumbing. We're gonna be at the top of the list in the phone book.
Oh my god. But damn. But
Anywho.
but yeah, I would say go see this. I thought this was a lot of fun. But guys, have you seen Hustlers? Let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can follow us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at
Nearmanthefirst.
And you can follow Colin on Twitter at
TheReelOneal.
And you can also follow us on. Go ahead and follow us and hit that subscribe button. You can
Smash
follow us on
Smash the subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe. You can follow us on SoundCloud, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher Radio at The Real Pineapple. Yeah, right.
You're like a pioneer of podcasts.
I know.
Sir.
We should know about it, but guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have a review up this weekend for Ad Astra, which I am so pumped for, and I'm going to subject myself to the uber Christian alt-right movie Unplanned, which I really don't want to watch, but I got a request for it, so I said, fuck it, fine. So that is going to be watched this weekend, damn it all. And we'll have a review up from the new Rambo this weekend, which I am psyched for new Rambo. I'm not even going to lie. I am pumped. New Rambo. Fuck yeah. But, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Peace.
Later.